Hey everyone, Dimonds456 here, and welcome to a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of the I Hear a Symphony animatic for Polychromatic. This animatic, I started production on it in late October, and was able to finish it by early December. And 44 hours of drawing went into this, as well as uncountable hours of editing. So let's take a look. Now, a lot of this I did by myself, and also a lot of it I did in a voice chat on Discord with some of my friends. And in Discord, get up to the usual shenanigans of sometimes we'll be talking and then I'll draw something silly. So if something random pops up on screen, that's why. But to the actual video, for the opening of Polychromatic, I knew I wanted it to really showcase Fauna and Emma just existing the way that they do for the majority of the show. Because the animatic takes place from the perspective of Emma, who is like the main side character, and I'm not gonna lie, the love interest of Fauna Fernleaf, who is the main character. And I really wanted this animatic to really show their relationship and just showing as it blooms throughout the show, because it's very important to the identity of Polychromatic as a show. And for context, yes, I do mean like show as in TV show. I want this to be like a real thing on television one day, and I'm taking it very seriously. And Emma is a very big deal. She's a very big part of this show. But when we get to this scene here where their eyes change color, they go from being pie cut and black and white to suddenly they have these unique colors that they've never seen before. Their world is in complete black and white, and they don't know what it means. So a large part of Polychromatic is just them figuring out what this color means and like what specifically it means to them. And it all starts with this talk on a cliffside between Emma and Fauna, because they'd never met before this moment where they're able to talk to each other, but there's just something there that causes this huge paradigm shift in who they are. And as the series goes on, the more colors start to appear. That's not really spoilers, that's just the premise of the show. But Polychromatic very much is I kind of want it to feel like a Saturday morning cartoon with like hijinks all the main characters can get into, and just cartoon physics, slapstick. The main villain, well, main villain, they're just doing it to have fun, honestly. So the chaos is unending. Like, no one gets seriously hurt. You could throw a man into a wall and he'll just bounce right off and go back into fist fighting a tree. You know, like it's that kind of world where comedy is like the main focus. But for the sake of this animatic, which is more focused on Emma and Fauna's relationship, it's definitely a more serious animatic. This is really showing like the story of Polychromatic rather than showcasing what the show itself is mostly going to be like. Because Fauna and Emma's relationship is such an important part of Polychromatic, like it's showcased very clearly in the story here how close they become, but their relationship blooms because of the situations that they're put into. So a lot of this animatic kind of turned into a plot summary as well. A lot of things are being left out. There's not a whole lot explained going from piece to piece. But that's on purpose, because I just wanted to show the relationship between Emma and Fauna, and she's approaching Leo, and it's because of the way that Fauna was able to handle Sandy before, the first villain, the snake, and was able to be like, stop it. For the parts that I decided to animate for this, because really did sit down one day and decide, hey, you know what would really help make this animatic go faster? Animation! So there are wholly animated parts in here. There was only one scene going into this that I knew that I absolutely wanted animated, and that is the scene where Fauna and Emma spin around each other. That's the only part that I knew that I wanted to animate. The rest of this was just supposed to be an animatic, and I kinda went a little overboard. Like, I've been envisioning that ever since I first heard this song, which, by the way, I had never heard this song before. My friend Nugget linked this song to that picture that she drew of my characters, and ever since the fan freaking came on, but ever since then, I've always associated this song with their relationship, and I've wanted to make an animatic for them for a while. So being able to sit down and actually do that was so much fun. And I had a blast with it. Animation is hard, kids. Don't do it. Hello. Okay, so hi, this is what I look like. And for this part, I don't have any footage of me actually working on the animatic, so I figured I'd just tell you what it was like to try and... I don't have an animation software, so in order for me to do anything with this animatic, it was an extremely overly complicated process, and I'm now going to take you through it. Come on a journey with me, my laptop, Filmora 9, and this dinky old laptop, this dinky old iPad, which is an iPad Air 2, if that means anything to you. Okay, so step 1, draw the frames. And how I would do this is I would go into a paint app called IBIS Paint, or maybe Ibis, I'm really not sure. I've heard it pronounced both ways. And you go in there and just create a new canvas. And the way that I do it super complicated, that I don't think anyone else does it this way. Except for stupid people like me. But go in and one layer is one frame of animation. And I go in, and depending on how complicated the animation is, I will draw keyframes for it first before I do anything else. Or I'll draw like basic sketches or like basic shapes in the sketch. And then once I'm done with that, then I go through and make sure that there's all the frames that I'm going to need. Then I save each individual frame into my gallery. And I save multiple of the same frame depending on how long I want it to last. And I put that through a GIF maker to make sure it looks okay. So I open up my GIF maker and I put in all the frames that I want, and either it looks good or it doesn't. The timing doesn't matter, but it helps give me a general idea of what I can do with it. And once it looks good in my GIF maker, then it's right back into IBIS. Time to line it, baby! So I go back and fix any mistakes, and I put in some line art, and I delete the sketches as I go. Which is something that I'm pretty sure in the professional world, you don't do. But the thing is that because I am using a drawing app, if I have too many layers, it gets mad at me. So I have to delete them as I go. So mistakes stay in the final product if I don't catch them in time. And as I am doing this, that's when I notice there's a lot more mistakes than I thought there were. But too late now, you save each line art individually and put it back to the GIF maker, baby. Same thing as before. Save multiple of the same image if you want to. Usually it's the first and last one, just to make sure that it has a starting point and an end point that isn't like too jarring. I tend to save 4 or 5 of the same frame, just to make sure that it loops alright and it's not too jarring, so I can actually see what the movement is. But then once I am done with that and I have completed the animation, I put it into, or I color it then. I color it, and depending on what I want to do with the camera movement, I might have to make an entire other picture with different dimensions, so that way the camera can move around on Filmora, because I'm a madman. And once I am done with that, and I have colored everything in, I send it to my laptop via Bluetooth, because I'm basic. And once it is in my laptop, then it goes into Filmora 9, which looks like this. Once you're in Filmora, then it's just a matter of stretching out your images to the time in which you want them to be. Because what I have up on the screen right now is actually just like the whip of the animatic. I think I recorded other footage of like, I think whip number 4, so you can kind of see what that looks like. But I also had to do that thing that I did when I'm drawing too, and go back and delete my sketches to save space, cause that's how I function. So I can't actually go back to the beginning and show you what each individual frame looks like because my computer would die. So you have this. I work with what I have, and honestly, considering what I have, I'm really proud of what I do. So there's that. But yeah. Thank you for coming to the Dimonds 456 Power Hour, and that was dumb. Yeah, so that's just basically how I did all of the editing. Like I did, apparently. But only over the course of 2 months. I could have sworn that I started this in August. But alright, fine. I started it a couple days before my mom's birthday. That timeline doesn't make any sense, but here we are. Unless you're a madman like me, don't do it like this. I'm not a role model. The only reason I'm showing you this is that you could see how insane I am. I was gonna say something else that I probably shouldn't have. And that just about does it. Working on this animatic, although really hard, was also pretty fun. There were a couple times where I had to dip out and take a break, especially if I had done pictures that had multiple characters in them. For some reason, that drains me a lot. Like, it's just 1 or 2 characters. Once you get to 3, then my energy for doing this kind of drops, which is a problem because I have a lot of characters. This is why I don't do reference pictures that often. But just working on this animatic was so much fun. And honestly, like, as much as I'm joking about how insane I am for trying to take this on, I would recommend doing something like this just for practice. Like, it was a lot of fun, and although I'm complaining about it, I don't regret it at all. And thank you everyone for supporting me on this journey and just tuning in if you were curious on what polychromatic even is or anything like that. So I'm probably going to have another video at one point explaining what exactly polychromatic is. Because there's a lot, and I can't fit it all into a behind the scenes on this one animatic that kind of spoils a lot of it, but also not at the same time because you don't have any context. And I'm not going to give you context either, sorry. Like I said, I want this to be real one day, and if this does actually become a thing, I'm probably going to mark that as unlisted or even private it. So look at it while you can. But anyway, that's all. That's my bit for the day. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Dimonds 456 out.